Picture this. It's 2:47 a.m. in rural Monroe County, Georgia. Sheriff Tom Hendricks is bleeding out on a gas station parking lot. A bullet lodged 2 inches from his heart. Standing over him, a 19-year-old patrol officer named Marcus Webb, his service weapon still smoking, his hands shaking so badly he can barely call for backup, and lying face down 10 feet away. Vincent Viper Salazar, enforcer for the Diablos Rojos cartel, wanted in 3 states, now choking on his own blood. What you're about to hear isn't some Hollywood script. This is the real story of how one split-second decision turned a routine night shift into a bloodbath that exposed a corruption network reaching all the way to the state capitol. And trust me, nothing about this night went the way anyone expected, because here's what nobody knew at 2:47 a.m. Sheriff Hendricks wasn't supposed to be at that gas station. Officer Webb wasn't supposed to be patrolling that route. And Vincent Salazar, he was supposed to be 200 miles away, safely across the state line. So how did they all end up there? And why did 3 more people die before sunrise? Stay with me, because this story has more twists than a mountain highway, and the biggest one comes at the very end. Let's rewind 8 hours. It's 6:30 p.m. on a muggy Tuesday evening in August 2019. Officer Marcus Webb, fresh out of the academy, only 4 months on the job, is sitting in the Monroe County Sheriff's Department locker room, lacing up his boots for the night shift. Marcus is 23 years old, former high school quarterback. Grew up in this town. His daddy was a deputy. His grandfather was a deputy. Law enforcement is in his blood. But tonight, Marcus is nervous. And here's why. For the past 6 weeks, Monroe County has been dealing with something it's never seen before: cartel presence. Not just drug runners passing through actual cartel infrastructure. Safe houses, stash locations. The Diablos Rojos, a Mexican criminal organization, has been quietly setting up operations in rural Georgia, using the county's empty backroads and abandoned warehouses to move product north to Atlanta. Sheriff Hendricks, a 30-year veteran, tough as nails, respected by everyone, has been obsessed with shutting them down. He's been working 100-hour weeks, coordinating with the DEA, running surveillance OPS. But here's the thing, the Diablos Rojos are ghosts. Every time the department gets close, the targets vanish. Safe houses turn up empty. Shipments disappear. It's like someone's tipping them off. Marcus doesn't think much about it as he heads to the briefing room. Tonight's assignment is simple: solo patrol. Zone for the northeastern quadrant of the county, mostly farmland and shuttered businesses. Quiet sector. Nothing ever happens there. At 7:15 p.m., Marcus rolls out in Unit 23, a slightly beat-up Crown Vic with a temperamental radio. He drives the familiar roads, checking on closed businesses, running plates on parked cars. It's boring work, the kind of shift where you fight to stay awake. But at 9:42 p.m., something unusual happens. Marcus is cruising down Highway 78 when his radio crackles partial transmission, broken up by static. He only catches fragments. Possible sighting: Black Escalade, County Road 51. He reaches for his radio. Dispatch, this is Unit 23. Can you repeat that? Static. Dispatch, come again. Nothing. Marcus frowns. County Road 51 is in his zone, about 8 miles north. He debates calling it in again, but decides to just swing by. Probably nothing, maybe a broken down vehicle, maybe kids joyriding. What Marcus doesn't know, that partial transmission wasn't meant for him. It was an encrypted DEA channel that briefly bled onto the sheriff's frequency due to a technical glitch. And the Black Escalade they were tracking, it's carrying Vincent Salazar and $400,000 in cartel cash, heading to a meeting that's about to go very, very wrong. At 10:18 p.m., Marcus turns onto County Road 51, a narrow 2-lane strip of cracked asphalt cutting through pine forests and abandoned tobacco fields. His headlights sweep across empty darkness. No Escalade, no cars at all. He's about to turn around when he spots something. Fresh tire tracks in the mud shoulder, leading off-road into a clearing behind an old derelict building, the former site of a textile mill that closed in the 90s. Marcus hesitates. Could be nothing. Could be teenagers partying. Could be stop second-guessing yourself, Webb. Just check it out. He paws up the road, kills his headlights, and approaches on foot. The building is a skeleton collapsed roof, shattered windows, graffiti-covered walls. But behind it, barely visible through the trees, Marcus sees a vehicle. Black Escalade. Georgia plates. His heart rate spikes. He radios dispatch. Unit 23. I've got a suspicious vehicle at the old Greenfield Mill site, requesting backup and a plate run. This time, the radio works. Copy that, Unit 23. Stand by. Marcus crouches behind a tree watching. The Escalade's engine is running, windows tinted dark. He can't see inside. 60 seconds pass. 90. Then the driver's door opens. Out steps a man early 20s, Latino, wearing a black hoodie and expensive sneakers. He looks around nervously, then walks to the back of the SUV and pops the rear hatch. Marcus's radio crackles. Unit 23. That plate comes back to a rental agency in Atlanta. No warrants, but... Hold on, the dispatcher's voice drops. Unit 23. The advised DEA has an active operation in your area. Do not engage. Repeat, do not engage. Acknowledge. But Marcus is already watching the man pull a large duffel bag from the Escalade, and then another, and another. 3 bags, heavy, the man straining under the weight. Marcus's training kicks in. Track money. Has to be. But why here? Why now? The man carries the bags toward the building's entrance, then stops. He's heard something. His head snaps up, scanning the darkness. Did he see Marcus? For 5 agonizing seconds, neither moves. Then headlights. A second vehicle approaches from the opposite direction. A white panel van. It pulls into the clearing, parks next to the Escalade. 2 men get out. One is white, 50s, wearing a sheriff's deputy uniform. Marcus's blood goes cold. Deputy Rains. Clarence Rains. 28 years on the force. Friendly guy, always joking around. Known for his barbecue cookouts. Marcus has met him a dozen times. And now he's meeting with a cartel courier at midnight in an abandoned mill. The second man from the van is someone Marcus doesn't recognize. Hispanic, 40s, calm and commanding. He walks up to the man with the duffel bags, exchanges a few words in Spanish, then turns to Deputy Rains. Everything clear? The older man asks. His voice carries in the still night air. Clear, Rains confirms. Hendricks is at the station reviewing case files. Won't be an issue. Marcus's mind races. Hendricks. They're talking about the sheriff. The older man, clearly Vincent Salazar, though Marcus doesn't know that yet, nods. Good. After tonight, we're moving the pipeline east. Monroe County is getting too hot. Agreed, Rains says. Just make sure my payment is in the van. 200,000, like we agreed. Marcus has heard enough. He needs to call this in immediately. He starts backing away slowly, trying to stay quiet. Snap. He steps on a branch. The crack echoes like a gunshot. All 4 men freeze. Then Salazar's voice, sharp as a blade. We're not alone. Flashlights sweep the trees. Marcus runs, sprinting through the darkness toward his patrol car. Behind him, shouts in Spanish. An engine roars to life. He reaches Unit 23, throws himself inside, fires up the engine. The Escalade is already moving, barreling toward him. Marcus slams the gas, fishtailing onto County Road 51, tires screaming. The chase is on. And here's the first real twist. Deputy Rains, the friendly barbecue guy, is dirty, and he just called someone because as Marcus accelerates down the dark highway, his radio suddenly goes dead, completely silent. Someone at the station cut his communications. Marcus is flying down County Road 51 at 80 miles per hour, the Escalade glued to his tail. His radio is useless. His cell phone, no signal. These back roads are dead zones. He makes a split-second decision. Head for the state highway, flag down another unit, get to civilization. He yanks the wheel, turning onto a side road that'll loop around toward Route 19. But the Escalade isn't just chasing him, it's trying to run him off the road. It pulls alongside, slamming into his quarter panel. Marcus fights the wheel, barely keeping control. Then gunfire. The Escalade's passenger window drops, and Marcus sees the muzzle flash before he hears the crack. His rear window explodes. He ducks instinctively, the Crown Vic swerving violently. They're trying to kill me. Another shot. This one punches through his driver's side mirror. Marcus does something desperate. He hits the brakes hard. The Escalade overshoots him, and for a precious 3 seconds, Marcus has space. He cuts left onto a dirt access road. He knows from a patrol a logging trail that eventually connects to Route 19. The Escalade follows, but the narrow trail slows it down. Marcus gains distance. His hands are white-knuckled on the wheel, his breath coming in gasps. Just make it to the highway. Just make it till he bursts out of the trees onto Route 19, and that's when he sees it. Sheriff Hendricks' personal truck, parked at Billy's 24-hour gas and go. The only business still open this time of night. And here's twist number 2. The sheriff wasn't supposed to be there. But earlier that evening, he'd gotten a flat tire and stopped to fix it. Pure chance. Marcus doesn't hesitate. He screeches into the parking lot, jumps out of his patrol car, and sprints toward Hendricks. The sheriff is inside, paying for coffee. Marcus bursts through the door, wild-eyed. "Sheriff, we've got her." That's when the Escalade pulls in. Everything happens in seconds. Salazar and his men exit the Escalade. 3 of them Salazar, the courier from the mill, and a third enforcer Marcus didn't see before. All armed. Sheriff Hendricks reacts instantly. Years of training. He draws his service weapon. Pushes Marcus behind the counter. "Stay down." "Sheriff, it's Rains," Marcus shouts. Rains is working with them. Hendricks' expression hardens. No time to process. The gas station's glass does shatter as bullets tear through. The firefight is chaos. The clerk, a college kid working graveyard shift, is screaming, crawling toward the back office. Hendricks returns fire. His shots measured and controlled. He hits the courier center mass. The man drops. But Salazar is a professional. He's flanking, moving around the side of the building. The third enforcer lays down, suppressing fire, pinning Hendricks behind a display shelf. Marcus, crouched behind the counter, has his weapon drawn, but his hands are shaking. He's never fired his gun outside the range. Never been shot at. The academy didn't prepare him for this. Hendricks shouts over the gunfire. "Whip! The propane tanks out back, shoot them if they get close." Marcus nods, not trusting his voice. Then twist number 3, the white panel van arrives. Deputy Rains gets out, weapon drawn. For one surreal moment, Marcus thinks maybe Rains is there to help. But Rains walks calmly toward the gas station's side entrance, the one Hendricks can't see from his position, and he raises his gun. Marcus sees it happen in slow motion, Rains lining up a shot on the sheriff's back. "Sheriff," Hendricks turns, but he's too slow. Rains fires. The bullet catches Hendricks in the left shoulder, spinning him around. He goes down hard, his weapon skittering across the floor. Rains steps inside, ready to finish it. "Sorry, Tom, but they pay better than the county ever did." Marcus doesn't think. He just acts. He stands up from behind the counter, weapon raised, and fires 3 times. 2 shots hit Rains in the chest. The deputy crashes backward through a chip display, dead before he hits the ground. But now Marcus is exposed. Salazar sees him from outside, aims, and this is the moment everything changes. Sheriff Hendricks, bleeding and weakening, does something incredible. From the floor, he sees Salazar lining up the shot. With his right hand, his non-dominant hand. Because his left shoulder is destroyed, he picks up his dropped weapon and fires. 1 shot hits Salazar's gun, knocking it from his hands. Salazar freezes. Then he bolts for the Escalade. Marcus steps through the shattered doors, weapon trained on the fleeing cartel enforcer. "Stop, police." Salazar doesn't stop. He's almost to the vehicle. Marcus fires. Once, twice. The second shot hits Salazar in the lower back. He stumbles, falls, crawls a few more feet, then collapses face down on the pavement. The third enforcer, seeing his bus down, makes a run for it into the woods. Marcus doesn't chase. He runs to Hendricks instead. The sheriff is unconscious, losing blood fast. Marcus applies pressure to the wound, yelling for the clerk to call 911. Help arrives 12 minutes later. Georgia State Patrol, who picked up the gunfire on their scanner. Paramedics stabilize Hendricks. He survives, though he'll never regain full use of his left arm. Vincent Salazar dies on the way to the hospital. But here's where it gets really dark. The investigation that followed uncovered the full scope of the corruption. Deputy Rains wasn't working alone. There were 3 other deputies on the cartel payroll, plus a dispatcher who'd been cutting Marcus's radio communications. They'd been feeding intel to the Diablos Rojos for almost 2 years, earning over $1 million combined. That's twist number for Sheriff Hendricks had suspected internal corruption, but didn't know who. That's why he'd been working alone, trusting no one. He was getting close, and that's why Salazar had ordered the hit. Twist number 5. The flat tire that put Hendricks at that gas station. FBI forensics later found evidence it had been deliberately punctured. Rains had sabotaged it earlier, planning to ambush the sheriff on that isolated road. But Hendricks had driven to the gas station instead of fixing it roadside. Pure luck saved his life. Twist number 6. Marcus Webb was never supposed to survive that night. After the arrests, investigators found text messages proving Rains had planned to kill Marcus and staged it as a cartel ambush. The only reason it didn't happen. Marcus made it to that gas station first. Marcus Webb received the Medal of Valor and was promoted to detective at age 24. He still works in Monroe County. Sheriff Hendricks retired 2 years later, his shoulder injury ending his career. And here's the final kicker, twist number 7. Remember that technical glitch that sent the DEA transmission to Marcus's radio wasn't a glitch. A federal agent, suspicious of the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, had deliberately routed it hoping an honest cop would hear it. That agent never came forward publicly. But 6 months later, Marcus received an anonymous letter. No signature, just 2 words. Stay honest. So what can we learn from this nightmare? Trust your instincts. Marcus could have ignored those tire tracks. Could have waited for backup. But he didn't. Sometimes you have to act on incomplete information. Corruption thrives in silence. Those dirty deputies counted on the thin blue line mentality. Nobody wants to believe their brothers in uniform could be criminals. That's exactly how they got away with it for 2 years. Split-second decisions define lives. Marcus had maybe half a second to decide whether to shoot Rains. If he'd hesitated, Sheriff Hendricks would be dead. Would you have pulled the trigger, knowing it meant killing someone you'd shared meals with? Someone your department trusted? That's the weight Marcus carries every single day. And that, right there, is why this job isn't for everyone.